Welcome into the I-80 Boys Week 2 edition. We got Tennessee at NC State. Christian, this should be a pretty good game here. I'll talk about Tennessee and I'll throw it over to you for NC State. Look, not much to really add to Tennessee. You know, we know they came out there and dominated. I think it was Chattanooga Middle School, if you will, 69-3. Nico looked great, right? I think he threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. He looked great. Offensively, Dylan Sampson, the running back, had a big day. 12 carries, 130 yards roughly, and 3 touchdowns. You know, defensively, obviously held them 3 points. There's not much to add there. They're playing Chattanooga. Like I said, this game, you know, this is kind of like what Nebraska did. They went out there and did what they were supposed to do, Tennessee. As far as this game looking forward, though, NC State, and you're going to talk about them in a second. You know, I'm obviously a person that's very, very high on Tennessee this year. I think they have a chance to win an SEC title as far as a dark horse goes. My big question with Tennessee is defensively this season. I know that they're going to be able to put up points offensively. With them playing in the SEC, this being a big ACC opponent, because a lot of people are high on NC State, and you'll let us know here why. I think their defense needs to improve. You know, they played well against Chattanooga, like I said, only gave up, 225 yards, and they only allowed 73 on the ground. That's great. But I don't put a ton of stock into that game. Tennessee was a large favorite. They went out there and, like I said, did what they were supposed to do. So I don't have a lot to add on Tennessee right now. Currently, Christian, I'm going to kick to you for NC State because a little different tale over there this weekend.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, look, NC State, they struggled with Western Carolina for pretty much most of that game. And then they finally woke up, in the fourth quarter and realized what was going on. So, I'll start here. The good news for NC State, I mean, Grayson McCall did have 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jordan Waters had over 130 total yards and 2 scores. I mean, he looks like he's going to be the guy in that backfield to get a lot of the work. So Kevin Conception, had 121 yards receiving and all 3 of McCall's touchdowns. So that's the good news, right? The bad news is, look, McCall looked super lost at times, and he struggled to make simple reads or throws, right? He went 26 of 40. All right. So that's not really great, right? But you could chalk that up to, hey, played a ton of football, been around. It's a new system, a new year. He's kind of going through some of the growing pains, right? Look, Tennessee has one of the best defensive players in the country in James Pierce Jr., who's going to look to feast on this O-line. All right. Another alarming stat is they gave up 21 points to Western Carolina. What's going to happen when Nico and the Vols come in, right? And like you said, they put up a 60 burger with their high-flying offense, right? So that's another thing we got to look at. Look, at the end of the day, McCall and this offense, they're going to have to figure this out fast, and they can't get too far behind, the sticks, to keep them in this one, right? I think on defense, I mean, look, they're going to have to figure out a way to disrupt Tennessee's passing and basically bend but don't break. You're going to get a lot of red zone opportunities here. You got to kind of make Tennessee kick field goals in those situations. Okay, shutting down Tennessee, that's all you can really hope for, right? Especially if you're NC State at this point and seeing what we've seen. I'll kind of go into my score prediction here, Chris. I got Tennessee 42, NC State 28.
Okay, all right, we're pretty close here, man. Like I said, I've been on the Tennessee bandwagon all offseason. This is a game I circled, said this was a must win. Obviously we've only seen 1 week of football played from both these teams. Yeah, I'm with you on NC State. Didn't look very good. I watched the majority of that game. I have Tennessee 40, NC State 21. I think in this game, NC State's going to struggle to move the football at times. If I think Tennessee's defense is as good as I think they are, they're going to struggle a little bit. They do have Kevin Concepcion, or however you say his name at the end. He's one of the better wide receivers in the country. He is a problem. He is very good. Had a huge year last year. But outside of that, Grayson McCall, wasn't impressed with him, Christian. I really wasn't. He threw for 300 yards, but he did look lost at times. That's going to have to be better if NC State wants to stick in this one. You said it best, though, and I alluded to it. Defensively, NC State is going to have to try to find a way to limit Tennessee when they get inside the red zone. I know Tennessee's going to move the ball up and down the field in this one. Like I said, Nico has looked really good since the bowl game last year he played in. I mean, the kid is electric. He looks like the 5-star that he's supposed to be. He might be the next Hendon Hooker there. Who knows? And he might be better. I don't know. But I'm with you in this one, Christian. Like I said, what's your thoughts on how this game is kind of, played out. I know it's at NC State. People tell me that's a tough place to play. I know NC State is not one of the most predominant teams on the planet when it comes to college football. I know they got a good team. They had a good team last year, but how do you see this one kind of playing out?
You'll make a food reference here for you, Chris. Making when you get all these pieces in the portal, like they've gotten, McCall and Waters and stuff, it's like making a pot of gumbo, right? You got to make your roux, you got to put your ingredients in, and then you got to give it time, right? You got to give it time to let it all kind of melt together and kind of blend, and so it tastes good, right? And I think NC State, if this is like a middle of the year kind of game where NC State has a chance to kind of, have a few, give me games and kind of work it with some of those lesser ACC schools, whatever have you, they got a shot. They have a real shot. Coming off that performance, a quick turnaround, then you got to go play Tennessee, who I think has improved on defense and, is going to light it up on the scoreboard. Kind of a tall order here, right? Now, like you said, they do get the game at home. It's probably not going to be super easy, but Tennessee's used to playing in, they played in the swamp last year, right? That wasn't an easy environment. I mean, they're used to going on the road and playing at Alabama, playing at Georgia. I mean, I think in this environment, Tennessee will rise to the occasion, and I think they'll be okay. The real question is, can NC State, like you said, Chris, can they kind of wake up and utilize this home field advantage to some way to their benefit? And I'll throw it back to you and get your thoughts on it.
No, I agree with you. Like I said, I think this game, like I said, if NC State wants any chance of winning this game, they're going to have to try to shut down Nico a little bit and limit touchdowns, turn those into field goals. I mean, if Tennessee gets up early in this game, 14-17 is to nothing, 17-3, there's no way. I just don't see NC State fighting back that way. Like I said, the Waters kid looked really good. He did. He looks like a really good back there, but Grayson McCall is going to have to play the game of his lifetime, in my opinion, if NC State wants any chance in this game. I know right now, currently on the books, I think Tennessee is favored by 7.5 points, which is kind of shocking to me, just judging by the way both teams looked after week one. But I know Tennessee didn't play anybody, but man, you got to think that Tennessee is going to come into this one pissed off. Tennessee has high hopes this year. They really do. I mean, you talk to anybody that's a Tennessee fan, they let us know on the channel, all the time. So, yeah, I think this game will be a little bit close at halftime. No shock there, but I think in the second half, I think Tennessee's going to get shit figured out, and they're going to put up some points in this one.